You probably know someone who says one thing but does another. Doesn't that frustrate you? How did Jesus deal with that kind of hypocrisy? Jesus said, "Don't be two-faced." Good morning and welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. You'll find a different command of Jesus at our Bible plan at bible.today.church. And there, this command today is listed with the verses Matthew 23, 19 through 26. I would encourage you to read that. But we're going to kind of start it at verse 23 through 26 for time's sake today. Where Jesus said, "What sorrow awaits you teachers of religious law and you Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are careful to tithe even the tiniest income from your herb gardens, but you ignore the more important aspects of the law, justice, mercy, and faith. You should tithe, yes, but do not neglect the more important things." And then in verse 24, he gets pretty specific here. "Blind guides, you strain your water so you won't accidentally swallow a gnat, but you swallow a camel." Now, that doesn't mean much to us, but they were so careful about not breaking the rules by swallowing something unclean, a gnat. Jesus was saying, you do all that, but instead you're swallowing a camel, which was another unclean animal. He says, "What sorrow awaits you teachers of religious law and you Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are so careful to clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside you are filthy, full of greed and self-indulgence. You blind Pharisees, first wash the inside of the cup and the dish, and then the outside will become clean too." As we unpack that, an important principle here about washing the inside first. Sometimes we get caught in the trap of trying to keep the big rules and don't deal with the more simple matters of heart. And Jesus was calling these religious people out as hypocrites. And that word in the Greek literally means under the mask, like wearing a mask. And Jesus was calling them out for doing good things according to the law, but missing the point, and so wearing this mask of hypocrisy. Now, I wouldn't be much of a pastor if I didn't mention for some who say that tithing or giving 10% of your income or your increase is just an Old Testament thing. Jesus actually said here that we should tithe. Yes, but he said that the most important thing was the heart of the matter. Tithing wasn't really the point here. Jesus was slamming the Pharisees for keeping the rules in the wrong way. He wasn't slamming them for keeping the rules. Those are a good thing. But he was calling them out for being two-faced, for living under the mask. The Greek word there literally means an actor under an assumed character. They would wear these masks that would literally have the kind of facial expression to define the emotion of the character that they were playing. And they were interpreting the story from underneath the mask. And Jesus is saying, if you're keeping the rules but missing the heart of the matter, you're doing the same thing. You're just wearing a mask. So the question today, are you an expert in the rules or are you an expert in love? Jesus was literally saying it doesn't matter what the outside looks like if the inside is a mess. It doesn't matter how many good rules you keep if your heart isn't right. The religious leaders that Jesus was talking to, those leaders were experts at going above and beyond just to make sure that they didn't break the smallest command. But they weren't going above and beyond in the things that matter the most, the issues of the heart. They ignored the most important aspects of the law, justice, mercy, and faith. And Jesus used harsh words for hypocrites, blind guides, child of hell, whitewashed tombs. So that brings us to the question, who do you call names? The funny thing is, Jesus never called sinners names like that. But you know who did? Those same hypocrites. Why? Because they were so focused on how good they were at keeping the big rules, they missed the heart. Justice, mercy, faith. And Jesus said, don't be two-faced. Don't wear a mask and point your fingers at everyone else. Deal with your heart. You can still keep the rules. The difference is our attitude. Because you can't really hide self-indulgence, pride, greed, and envy with a mask of good deeds. What's underneath will spill out in your attitudes toward others. And here's how we tell if we're wearing a mask or not. What's underneath your mask? What comes out? Do you experience love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control? If not, it doesn't really matter if you're keeping the big rules. It doesn't really matter if you're voting for the right candidate, just to put it in a context that's important to our culture right now. What really matters is what's underneath. Where is your heart? Because if you're just keeping the rules without the heart, you're wearing a mask. And Jesus said, don't be two-faced. So how can you put that into action today? Thank you so much for listening. As always, if this is meaningful to you, it means a lot if you like it, if you share it, if you comment. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Rita and Tina, for checking in. I hope that you have an amazing day, and I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest the Jesus way. And remember, follow Jesus today. Love first.